44 teeth, I love you.
Right, dead briefly, 44 teeth viewers, I'm in Malaga. I'm going to ride this, Suzuki's new 1050 V-Strom. It's got to be right, this bike. It's a competitive part of the market, and let's face it, Suzuki have not been doing that well of late. This is one of their very few new bikes. It's not massively different, but there are a lot of little improvements. So, it's got a more powerful engine. It's got about another 5 brake horsepower. It's a bit heavier, mind you. Lots of fancy electronics, new styling, new clocks, new lighting, new seat, new handlebars. There's just a load of different things. Anyway, enough of the waffle. Let me go, let me get on it, and I'll tell you what it's like in due course.
Suzuki V-Strom. Suzuki V-Strom. Suzuki V-Strom. Suzuki V-Strom.
Right, Mossy, another launch, another Mossy launch, and you've turned into a bit of, I think you've turned into our 44 teeth adventure bike correspondent, really, haven't you?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's only because they answered the phone when you said, do you want to go on the launch? I didn't know what it was for. I just saw the free beer, sunshine and general excitement.
So.
And it wasn't always like that, but there you go.
The V-Strom, the V-Strom. Yes. I mean...
Do you mean the V-Strom 1050?
I do mean the V-Strom 1050. Now, it looks like, is it just another V-Strom?
Essentially, yes, but I'd like to debate it for a bit longer than that.
As in what's new? Just the brief... You know.
Okay, motor, a bit more mid-range, bit more top end. It's got another 5 brake, cams, pistons, bigger throttle bodies, new ECU, a couple of other little tweaks, new exhaust. It's been freshened up a bit.
Yeah,
exhaust the same, clutch is the same, crank's the same.
But there's...
Pistons different.
It's quite a bit.
Okay. We'll come to that.
All right.
We'll come to that.
Chassis-wise?
No, essentially the same.
Yeah, okay.
Suspension internals are different. It's the styling of the thing. New dash, new seat.
Yeah.
It's it's a refurbished motorbike.
And I saw on the launch there was the Dr. Big.
Yep. Listen, designed by the man who designed the Dr. Big. He was there. He was well chuffed.
Okay.
Look, if there's one good thing about this bike, it's its style and look.
Yeah.
I think both the yellow one and the orange and white one that I rode, they're striking.
Yeah, yeah.
Though, I don't know, they could just do with just being a bit newer, a bit more exciting, but we'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Suzuki V-Strom.
I mean, Suzuki's called it the Master of Adventure.
Yeah, it feels good, see? I mean, I'm going to compare it a bit to that BM 900 XR thing that I rode last week, which was pretty damned impressive. And I think this has got a bit more sort of meat to it. It's got more CCs, and as usual, more CCs means more meat, and just a bit more of a boot up the arse when you twist that thing. Do you know what? I was sort of listening to the blurb from Suzuki last night, and I just thought, this doesn't sound as though it's going to be that fancy, but this very early first impression has sort of got me a bit giddy about having one for a while. I mean, the point here is we're going to do about 100 miles on it today, which is, it's telling, but it's not exactly the full story. Fucking brakes are sharp. Doesn't it? All feels a bit right, sort of quite well balanced, nice suspension. Listen, I need to go a bit faster than this to find out what the full crack is, but don't know. Sort of liked it more than I thought I would. I'll tell you, the throttle is a bit on the snatchy side, mind. I think you've got to be a bit calmer with the way you yank it. Or maybe boot it up a gear and let it sort of pull through. Like now we're in third, so when I touch the throttle it's not quite as abrupt. The gearbox is, I don't think that's great, but this is a bit new, and I think I don't know. No, that's a bit of a surprise for Suzuki. I mean, it's normally one of the best features. I don't know. You could call it positive if you're in a good mood. It's quite a big bike, but that's not a bad thing. You know, you sort of you feel as though you're getting a lot for your money. It just feels sort of substantial. It's not a puny, weedy thing that makes you feel as though you've been a bit ripped off. Some damp patches up here. Now, you don't want to be diving off here, because if you do, you'll end up doing what I did about 10 years ago and ended up in Rhonda's hospital for 10 days. Top road, this bugger, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you that it's not a lightweight. It's well over 200k, but it feels about 20 kilos less than that. It feels about like a ton 90 thing, and it's yet another indication of why figures are a bit academic. Yeah, I mean, I say this with so many bikes, but I'd like to just head off north to my house on this now. It sort of gives you the impression it'd be a piece of cake to do. You can buy tons of stuff like luggage for it and make it like a proper tourer. Quiero ir más rápidamente, por favor. Which I think means I want to get a move on, man. I should do some wheelies. Now to do that I think we need the traction on. I think the man in front has the same idea. It's got a few buttons. You can adjust the traction. It's got 3 riding modes. You can adjust the... no, you can't adjust the ABS. If you adjust the riding modes, it automatically alters the traction. Now you got a fuel gauge, range, average fuel consumption. There's quite a bit going on with this bike. I mean, as somebody pointed out yesterday, it's a bit of an understated one. It goes a bit under the radar, this thing. It's always been very much alright, but I just think it's sort of missed that slight wow factor to make people get a bit giddy about it. But yeah, it's sort of my sort of bike really. For an everyday bike, a workhorse, I think it'll probably be just the job. I mean, it's only got 105 horsepower. It's up about 5 from the current one, but it's not the sort of peak that matters on this. It's how it gets there. It's got a bit more meat in the mid-range. Just means you can just relax a bit more, pull a bigger gear, just get more beans from it.
Suzuki V-Strom.
So enough of the technical guff. What do the changes amount to?
Do you know what? I got on it and there's more guts to the motor. I think the suspension's a bit plusher, but still supportive. It's sort of, it's a better bike,
Yeah.
but by how much?
Refinement. Another
Yeah.
Suzuki refinement job.
And do you know what? And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was great, you know, and I liked it from minute one. And the first thing I thought was, bloody hell, this would suit me. I could do a load of different things on this. This is a very useful, usable, versatile, sensible, sorted, all that stuff, you know. And I like bikes like that.
Because you're old.
Nah, because I used to be a dispatcher man for 10 years in London, and I've never forgotten bikes like that, you know. You don't need anything sexy, you want something that works.
Yeah.
And the V-Strom works, apart from a couple of things. Look, it handles, it stops, that motor's punchy, it's comfy. It's a bit hard to knock in analysis, at least. One thing that was quite comical, they've got this adjustable screen.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I think I'm going to really slag it for, though I might have found a way around this, it's got an adjustable screen that you just move by hand, but the lock for it is on the outside. I mean, they need to get a bit real with that. If you want to move a screen, you should be able to do it by hand with a lever or just yanking it. But I've just released that lock, so I can actually just do that. So there, found a way.
Adjustable
Great.
as in hand job.
Yeah. Wasn't that good. I stopped, but it never came to relieve me at any point. It's quite funny, that is. Should be on the radio with that sort of material. Yeah, it's got this lock-in device on the outside of the screen.
Right.
So in order to unlock it and adjust it, you have to stop and go around the front and get off. It's like having a window
You
winder.
have to get off?
You have to get off the bike.
Would normal sized people sort of reach around and reach around again? Hand jobs. Anyway, would normal sized people be able to?
I'll tell you what I did. I just left it in the unlock position, and there was enough friction on it for me to just pull it up and down.
Okay.
But it sort of summed things up. It's like, how on earth did that get out of the factory, man? It's like having a window winder in your car on the outside of the door.
I can already hear a massive butt coming for all its praise, but it's cheap, isn't it?
No. No,
relatively.
No.
It
Not having that. Right, the XT, right, the standard model.
Yeah.
Is just under 10 grand.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Which
That's
is
all
cheap
right.
for an adventure
That's
bike.
all right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
And look, we're miles away from the likes of Africa Twins and GSs.
Yeah.
So yes, you can see that as good value. But the XT Wii Road, which is higher spec in quite a few areas, it's got like cornered ABS. I'd have to have a look at me list.
But it's the Gucci one. Yeah.
Gucci, is that an appropriate?
Okay.
Bit more Clark shoes, I think, for anyone who can remember them.
They're still going. My mate works for him.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. It's a she.
You need. Oh, I was about to say you need to change your mate. But if it's a she, you can keep her on board. Do you put her on board ever? Where were we? I've gone off into the ether. What were we talking about there?
So the
V-Strom.
price of XT.
Yeah, it's quite close to some Triumph Tiger 900s, new
Okay.
bike.
Yeah.
And it's more expensive, or very close, depending on the spec, of the new F900 BMs as well.
Okay.
And they are properly new, fresh,
Yeah.
innovative,
Yeah.
well-equipped, fancy, new. I'll come to the main point here. This V-Strom, to me, is a bit like your local boozer. You know the boozer
Sounds
that
brilliant. Yeah.
you like going,
Yeah.
you know you're going to be welcome, you know you're going to have a good time, but it's a bit familiar. You know, and every so often you need to go into the West End or something to do something that's going to excite you. The local doesn't excite, does it? It serves its purpose. It's good. Now, the V-Strom, to me, is like the same local that's had a bit of a refurbishment, you know, new decor,
Liquor paint.
new furniture, new barmaids, new glasses, but it's still deep down the Red Bull that you've been going to for 10 years or so. And that's the problem with the V-Strom.
Okay.
However, and you can accuse me of contradicting myself and complete hypocrisy if you want right now, in a very short time, I am getting one as a long-term test bike, and I'm looking forward to it for all the aforementioned reasons, because it'll work.
You've requested a Suzuki long term.
I think I've just dropped my visual aid. I didn't so much request it as say, yeah, I'll have one of them when invited to have one. My long-termers just need to get me places.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm not excited, you know. If I know I can go a load of miles on a big tank of fuel, which that has 20 litres.
Maybe chuck a bit of diesel in there now and again.
I'd like to argue the point here, but I have done that on... Do you know what? I've done that twice now. I'll tell you the story one day. You can have a proper laugh. I just want something that's going to be good to go wherever I'm going and however far I'm going, and it'll do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll grow to like it, I suspect. This is one of these bikes, at a launch, you just got to come away feeling a bit underwhelmed.
Mate, just leave it there. Just leave
A
it
bit
there.
underwhelmed and sort of feeling a bit cold. Yet, if you sort of own it, spend time with it, live with it, I'm confident that it'll come to me, yeah. I'll end up admiring it hugely, but never probably quite loving, you know?
Yeah.
Suzuki V-Strom.
Right then. Let's not fucking dive off. It's got quite a fancy braking arrangement, this thing. There's a photographer there that just wasn't riding at my best. Are you ready? Good. Good, good, good. Now, I'm excited about the season. Alex, where do you live?
I live in Andorra.
Ah, right.
You know, between France and Spain.
Yeah, of course. Which airport do you use when you travel from Andorra? Do you have to go to Barcelona? Yeah, okay. Somebody may be videoing this, so we need to get a bit of a fucking shift on. Oh, footrest down, what a boy! Alex, what sort of car do you have? What sort of car do you have?
What?
The car.
Which car I have?
¿Cómo se llama en español? Car, coche? Coche. ¿Qué tipo de coche tienes?
I have Suzuki Jimny.
A Suzuki Jimmy? Oh dear. Bye, good, bye. Ride quality, very good. I know that sounds a bit fucking boring, but it's better than getting a pummeled arse and fucking teeth all day long. Yeah, what doesn't bother you after just a few miles becomes a fucking proper chore after 300. So now this feels fit to go for many a mile and many an hour. Yep, that's good. Yeah, decent brakes, good support on the fork as well. You know, it's not crashing down and getting all mushy and fucking, oh my god, are we going to survive? Look at that, man. It's a proper view. Down too many there, matey. Whoever it is behind me is matching me for pace, so we'd better start going faster. We've dropped him, I think. Wish I brought my leathers. Chops. That looks a bit squirmy, and as was proven, I might put the traction back on.
Suzuki V-Strom.
As a road bike,
Yes.
it's pretty difficult to fault. You know, it
Yeah,
does.
apart from that stupid screen.
Yeah,
No, from a dynamic point of view,
Yeah.
it works.
yeah, and it's
Bit-
as good as it's good at anything.
There's a lot of bloody good bikes out there.
But in terms of a road bike,
oh man, from
an
a
adventure
dynamic
bike,
point
yeah,
of view and a working point
Yeah.
of view, I mean, look, you can ride it fast.
Yeah.
You know, you can wheelie it. Well, I struggled there a bit. I was a bit cheesed off actually. Mr. Alex Rins was the special guest.
44 teeth, I love you.
And I tried to wheelie it at least 15 times and put it down to the fact that we were at high altitude and it was just knocking the edge off the engine power a bit.
and he got on it.
Bob. How long do you want to go? How long do you want to go, he says. Lovely man, by the way. Proper, down-to-earth, unaffected by fame and fortune type bloke.
Good, yeah.
Really good.
So, yeah, going back to the V-Strom 1050. So, as
Why
I
do, you
say,
think why do you think it's called the 1050? And the old one was called the 1000?
because it's got another 49cc.
It hasn't. It's exactly the
Exactly
same
the same.
capacity. 1037cc.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. The men in suits decided it needed a new name,
There you go.
but it's the same motor, apart from those aforementioned tweaks. Same capacity.
So the motor feels stronger. It's not a massive update. The chassis obviously is roughly the same.
Yeah,
Suspension feels a bit better.
Yeah.
You know, does it get that kind of adventure bike wobble on once you start the push?
No, stable.
It's stable. Yeah,
Absolutely
okay,
no
good.
bother. Few electronics as well, by the way. It's got ride-by-wire. Probably should have mentioned this earlier.
Okay.
So now it's got 3 engine modes. It's got ABS that you can adjust, and it's got corner ABS on the XT. And it's got hill control as well to stop you rolling back
Yeah.
when you come to a stop on a hill. And it's
And this is on the X. I'll just leave. Just give them to me. Give them to me.
yeah, they're going in my pocket. Just on the XT, some of these features
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
And here's a little thing. Don't know if it's going to be useful. It's got a little sensor in the rear shock. When you load it and put some weight on it, it alters the brake bias. It gives you a bit more pressure towards the back. Didn't put anything on the back. Can't tell you if it works or not. But they're tweaking existing models, aren't they? And that's what this is. They haven't built anything totally brand new, have they? For how long? How long? I mean, you mentioned...
The new Gixxer, I mean...
it's still built on an existing motorbike, isn't it?
Yeah, but that was the last bike I got really excited about. And what really upset me was they've dropped the van. Can you believe that? They're not making the van anymore.
Not too tragic in my book. It's just, come on. It's as though they've lost interest and they're just building cars and stuff, or scooters for the Asian market.
Yeah.
Why do they go MotoGP racing with Mr. Rins and co when, you know, they're trying to promote a brand, but they're not building any bloody motorbikes to back it up from, you know,
We digress again. So back to the V-Strom 1050, which is actually a 1037. So what's it like off-road? Did you get a chance to have a little play?
Yeah,
when we say off-road on launch, it's going to be a bit of gravel and a fire road.
That's exactly what it was. I could have taken GSXR down there.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if I crashed it, actually. Didn't crash it. Loser.
I think this is fucking hell. There's not much fucking grip here, matey. Ah, shit, I'm gonna go down there and never fucking get out again. I'm puffing and bunting a bit here. Yeah, gotta be careful you don't go too fast, and I don't know, maybe the corner ABS is good on this, but go, yep, thank you. I mean, on roads like this, sort of off-road routes like this, it's no bother at all.
Do you know what? I reckon I know somebody who did the Hafren Rally on the old bike, you know. If you put proper tyres on it and you've got some ability, and I'm not claiming to have that, a good guy on it with proper tyres could make it work.
Okay.
But it's a road bike. Essentially, it's a road bike, you know. Which, like you said...
Like most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to talk about some others in forthcoming episodes, chaps, that do perform a bit better than the basic sort of fashion that the V-Strom did. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think many people are going to take it off-road, you know. Listen, if Rita Ora lived at the end of a 2-mile-long, sloppy, mucky, rutty drive, I'd ride the V-Strom there. It'd be the best bike in the world for off-roading.
Rita, if you're listening, that is the invite for a feature of a lifetime. So please get in touch. We'll put the end of some sort of doggy... I was about to say something there. Doggy lane. And we'll get Mossy to ride to come and meet you. What a feature.
Tune in forevermore. Tune in your next life and you might. No, you won't.
Rita, pet. Rita, get in touch, babe. Get in touch.
Fancy a ride on my bike, pet? She is so hot, man.
Suzuki V-Strom.
Thanks, Mossy.
Bye-bye.